I'm going to share with you that life is inherently suffering. We may be, and a lot of what I speak today may not be in line with what the positivity movement makes you believe. There is a certain value in the positivity movement, but there's also a lot of whitewashing, a lot of building castles in the air, and a lot of making you see things even if they aren't that way. So life, if you notice, if you are present to life sufficiently, you will realize that a lot of our thoughts are around concerns around our health, or something like what is happening nowadays, or about for example, say you pass your 10th standard, in fact, rather you pass your 9th standard, and then the child has to slog through some vacation batches and then study all through the year, and then he passes out his 10th standard, and then his happiness lasts for a day or two or a week or two, and then he has to apply for some college and give entrance exams and then get through into college again. 11th standard, maybe, at least during our times, we used to chill out a bit, and then towards the end of 11th, again we're planning for 12th and what we will do beyond that, again slogging, and then you get into engineering or medical, you're again slogging, and you're already thinking in terms of your job and what will happen. I'm not painting a dismal picture for you. I'm just helping you see life for what it is. And if we are honest, we are tremendously deeply honest, we will notice that there has always been a constant source of suffering in life. We cannot necessarily claim that life is joy. That would be dishonest, actually. Even the enlightened people suffer. Even the enlightened people would have all kinds of relational issues, all kinds of health issues. So the suffering is wrought over life. I am not one of those coaches who's going to talk some gas, actually, who's going to talk some stuff which people cannot. I want you to look at your life and see that there are joyful moments, definitely, but there is suffering. There's a lot of suffering in life. The sooner we acknowledge it, the better. So between these two options, but I had given you only two options, I was being unfair. So I'm going to now give you one more option, and this option is and that is my mindset. Okay, and I propose this mindset to you for today and for the rest of your life. I'm going to share 2-3 mindsets. So the first one is, life is suffering, but it can be made immense joy. There's a difference between life is suffering, option 1, life is joy, option 2, and third one, life is suffering, but it can be made immense joy. If immense joy also looks a far possibility, life is suffering, but it can be made joy. That is the basis I come from. I have noticed that if we assume life is joy, then every time something difficult happens, we are in for a surprise, because our prior assumption was life is joy. Life is meant to be wonderful. The universe is on my side, and God is on my side, and everybody is on my side. I'm born to enjoy this planet, and then we are getting shocks after shocks after shocks. Beyond our teenage, the whole process of becoming an adult starts, and then what we call the difficulties of life set in. But look at it this way, okay? Which is how Buddha began, or which is how even Jainism to some extent is oriented, that if you start from the point that life is suffering, then even if you get something, you're going to be thankful about it. Just think about this one, okay? I am a I like to talk radical stuff because I believe life is not so shallow to classify it as joy altogether. So if you are beginning from the space that life is suffering, and then you're getting, some instances which make you happy, then you're going to be happy about it. But if you're beginning from life is joy, then regardless of what you get, you know you would the joyful moments would be taken for granted because life was meant to be joy, and the moments which were troublesome would be unnecessarily highlighted because life was meant to be joy. you know so we need an attitude wherein we begin by understanding that life by default is suffering, and but it can be made joy for sure, and it is our solemn duty to make it joy.